Hello, my name is Michael D'Angelo, and I'm going to share a quick video on how you create your organization manually in GlassFrog. Create an organization role by role from the beginning. So when you initially sign up for GlassFrog, it creates for you a basic organization with some example roles and circle definitions so that you can get a sense as to how things are defined. In addition to that set of example data, it also puts your organization in setup mode. Now, while in setup mode, this allows you to make whatever changes you need to make freely without notifying other people in the organization that may have been added to this to GlassFrog. So that's the main advantage of setup mode. Now let's start with how to modify, change, and delete roles. So here I am at the very top level of the organization, and if I want to make any modifications to any role, I click on the edit icon for any of these objects. I can edit its name, I can edit the strategies, I can edit accountabilities here, I can delete, I can change the text, or I can add new ones. So you can make whatever changes you need to make to any given role at any time. I can also, using this one here, I can also assign people to the role. So I select the assignment edit option. And in this case, at the moment, I'm the only one in the organization. But if there were others that I've invited, they would show up here in this list. I select them, hit assign, and now they're there as an assignment. Okay. So that's how you make changes to existing roles. Now, to create a role in the organization, let's say in this top level, I want to create a finance role. I select from this menu, and most of the operations are going to happen in this menu here. I'm going to select add subrole, and let's call it finance. And that's the purpose of this role. There we go. There it exists. So it shows up in the list of roles, and perfect. But let's say finance is actually a department. I want it to be, it's not just one role, it's a whole bunch of people. How do I make this into a team or a department or a circle? Well, in GlassFrog, the only difference between a role and a circle is that a circle is a role that has subroles. So if you want to make this a team or a department, you simply select finance and add a subrole to it. So let's call it budget analyst. All right. So now finance has a subrole called budget analyst. And you can just continue adding roles to this. Let's add another one. You make sure you have the right object selected, finance. And I want to add another subrole called delete me. There you go. And let's say budget analyst, I want to assign to some member of the organization, assign it to me, assign. There we go. All right. So now there is finance with those two roles. So that's how you create a circle. And you can continue nesting and doing that. Now, if I want to delete a circle or role, I simply select the role, in this case, delete, and I choose remove role from the option. And it's gone. If I want to remove the circle, finance, I operate it the same way. I select finance, make sure that's the thing that's selected, choose remove role, and that will remove finance and anything it contains. So in this case, it's going to remove finance as well as budget analysts. So that's how you add, remove, and change existing roles. Now, if you want to add members to the organization, you go to the administrator set of menus, and this shows up for anyone that's identified as a system administrator in GlassFrog. Select organization members, invite new member, give it a name, and add email address. And then here's where you choose whether or not you want them to be GlassFrog administrators. From here, you can choose to invite them or invite members immediately. The difference between these two is both of them will send out invitations, but invite members immediately will also make them available in the drop-down menus even if they haven't accepted the invitation yet. So this is really handy during a setup mode, because during setup mode, no emails come out of GlassFrog. So it queues up all these invitations until you launch the organization, sends out the invitations for people to now join, provide their password, etc. But during setup mode, you often want them to be in the menu so you can start assigning them to the various roles. All right. Excellent. Now, the invitation, until they accept the invitation, they will not receive any GlassFrog emails like when there are updates or changes to their teams, except for the invitation-based emails. All right, so that's how you add members. Excellent. Now, when it comes to who can actually make the changes while in setup mode, there's two groups of people that can make the changes. One is anyone that's been identified as a GlassFrog administrator. They can make changes. The second is anyone who's been identified as the lead of a circle. So, for example, anyone who's been assigned the lead, no one yet, and anyone that's been assigned as the secretary of that circle. So we refer to those as circle admins. So the GlassFrog admins and the circle admins are the only ones that can make changes during setup mode. The circle admins can only make changes to their circles, right? They can't make changes to others. Now I showed you how to add members to a particular circle or role, but there are also special types of roles that are elected. They're chosen by the team. So until you launch, you can't actually elect role assignments. You can actually elect the people to fill those roles. So during setup, we have the option here of assigning the secretary. So you can assign them, at least for now, until you've had a chance to do an election. All right. So now Michael's been added as secretary. So if I come into the roles list, I can see that this person is the circle lead as well as the secretary. And all right, so once you've had your organization all created and it looks good enough to launch and share with everyone, you select launch your organization now. And when you hit that, what will happen is all of the invitations that have been held will now go out to everyone if they haven't gone out before. And now, if you've identified a governance process for controlling how changes are made to GlassFrog, that'll now be reinforced. All right, and there's more about that in a separate. If you want to go back into setup mode, where you find that is under the administrative set of options, organization settings. Under the profile tab, there is an option called setup mode. You select that, and it's just warning you that whatever governance process you have in place is now going to pause, and certain people can freely make changes. And you hit save. There you go. So now the organization is back in setup mode. We have the banner across the top that's explaining that it's in setup mode. Everyone that's logged in GlassFrog will see this banner, and the administrator can launch the organization. Well, there you go. That's the basics of manually creating your organization in GlassFrog.